So welcome again. Now in this video we will discuss about imagination. Now imagination, something just like we have discussed in last video, that memory develop at a very early stage of childhood, wherein the child is very small and he is a very small baby. At that moment of time itself, he started recognizing people, identifying their sounds, their noises and their actions. But sometime whenever it comes to imagination, actually it takes more time to develop imagination. And when certain kind of stories, and they should actually, they need to understand some kind of stories, facts, people, then and then only actually their imagination will develop. But of course imagination needs to be developed. Actually it's help not there are positive and negative sides of it, but of course development of imagination is very important when it comes to intellect, because many of the time we need to actually come to some kind of decision or conclusion, or getting results. We need to imagine things, we need to assume things, and for that assumption we should have that imagination capability. Based on that only we can imagine. So imagination is something wherein we create some mental pictures or mental images of any kind of thing, whether it's certain kind of situation, whether it is certain kind of action, whether it is some certain kind of scenario, but wherein we our mind, actually mind is playing some kind of trick, and based on that only we are creating those kind of thing. Now there are imaginary story. Now in all stories generally animals speak, but in reality animal don't speak. There are many stories, fairy tales, and all these kind of stories are mostly imaginary, because generally in real life we don't see fairies are flying here and there, and actually that kind of thing never happens. But if you continue telling such kind of stories, they may actually build that those kind of imaginary environment around them. It's actually up to certain level it's good, but beyond limit it's not good. If every time they are imaginary and they are creating some imaginary friends or imaginary visualizations around them, it's not always good actually. In small children you might have seen, they actually create some kind of stories, and in their stories there are some kind of imaginary characters which doesn't exist, but still they are there because they are their story characters or their favorite cartoon characters, or any heroes, real life, or maybe some imaginary hero in their life which they got influenced with. And such kind of imaginary character actually always come to help them and assist them, and that's how actually their imagination build and go in the positive direction. But if it goes beyond some kind of limit, it may actually affects negatively, because certain situations come in life wherein they have to work for themselves, they have to take decision. It's not always that someone else will come for them and someone else will help them. There are many situations in human life that we need to solve it. So for that actually we need to come out of that imaginary life, and we need to understand the real facts in the life, and we need to accordingly act on certain kind of thing. So imagination, again coming back to the topic, there are certain kind of common form of imaginary experiences in childhood. First is daydreaming. So whenever we are at means on a particular day, we are not sleeping, but we are just imagining something which is a good kind of experiments, or not that much good kind of experience, but we are experiencing just like it's happening with us with the open eyes. That is called as daydreaming, some kind of imagination wherein I get into those kind of experience which actually I want to experience. So these are all things comes say we can say as daydreaming. Then imaginary friends, we may have some friend who help us. Now just like for example in Munna Bhai MBBS, actually Sanjay Dutt was the hero, and he used to read lots and lots of books from books of Mahatma Gandhi just to impress the heroine. And actually that make that much impression in his mind that he used to see Mahatma Gandhi, and actually he was guiding him just like a real friend, though he was imaginary image, but actually he could see that image, helping him and making solving his problems. So these are all kind of thing happen whenever we think much for someone. Even many people actually they believe in God and they think that God comes and God help them, but actually it's all their imagination. Their brain creates such kind of images for them and they show them that they are real, and such kind of thing happens whenever they are actually creating such kind of image by imagining them. So that are imaginary friends. White lies, generally lies are not white, of course they are black in color, but white lies is something wherein we experience it is, but actually it is not the case. Like for example, they don't want to go to school and they are saying, oh, there is pain in my stomach, but actually they think it's so much time that they start feeling it, and such kind of thing may happen many times. What you think actually that you may feel also. So that is what is white lies. Then animism is some kind of toys or some kind of characters. It may be a teddy bear, it may be any toy who may play the role of a real life friend, and that's how it's actually animism, wherein they get acted into animation of that particular character as a real life character. Then imaginary dream, it's a sleeping dream, it's not real. So when you are sleeping, at that moment of time you are watching some people or some scenarios, some situations wherein they are helping you, and that is your imagination, it's not actually real. So these kind of dream, one is daydreaming, which is open eyes images, and imaginary dreams is sleeping time images. So these all things comes under imagination. So this much for this video. Thank you very much.